Okay, now that our modeling's done, I'm going to have a look at UV mapping or unwrapping. So I've already got some UVs made for bits and pieces, but I'll show you on this arm how I did my UV mapping. So I'll start by selecting the faces that I want to be in this UV map, in this set. I'll select usually along where a seam would be, or where the separation between a body part is. So there we go. That's there. And then if I go into smooth mode sometimes, just to see where I want my separation to be. Just like this. Just make sure we're not selecting any bits that we don't want, and deselecting all the bits that we don't want as well. There we go. So we got that arm selected. Now from here, I normally like to use planar mapping, either from one of the axes or from the camera. So we'll go to planar mapping, we'll go option, and we will, here we go. So normally that's not ticked, but anyways, go from the camera, and then we'll create a new UV set. Call it left arm, and then we'll project. Alrighty, so we'll go to UV texture editor, and then we can see, there it is, but the problem is it's still can't be unwrapped properly yet. As you can see, it's all overlapping as well. So to unfold it, we need to make a cut along where we want our seam to be. So I'll probably put it under the arm here, and so we'll go into edge mode and select along this edge here. Once we've got that selected, we'll just make sure we got all the bits that we want. I'll just go out of smooth mode for that. There we go. So, got that edge selected, and just cut. Now that we've got that cut, select these UVs. This is the fast unfold, but if we keep it that way, it's going to end up all warped when we add our texture. So from here, I'm going to just unfold, just like that. And now to just orient it an easier way. So just check what spots are what. So we'll grab this part and see where that is. Okay, so that's the top there. It's the wrist there, so try and orient it in a similar way, rotating around like that. There we go. Nope. There we go. Now just use our moving tools, get it to the right spot, make it as big as we can, and we'll just check. So yeah, that'll be the front. This should be the back elbow. There it is. And there we go. Now we'll get this UV set, we'll select it all, and we'll do a UV snapshot, and we'll save out that image to be used in Photoshop later. Okay, now I'm going to show you how we do some texturing. First I'll show you some simple texturing that we do, such as for the eye here. Just use some of the materials from Manta Ray, and a bit more room here. Now there's some pre-made materials in here. Just going to use a Maya material here for the eye, and I'm going to the attribute editor for that, make it a nice dark blue, because I want my eye to be dark blue, quite dark actually. Then I'll just name that material eye, and we'll select that eye, and then we'll assign material to selection. Yep. Do a quick little render here, see what it looks like. Looks nice. And from there we can do small adjustments to the reflectivity, glossiness, nice and reflective, and maybe we'll get this a bit darker. There we go. And do another test render just to see what it'll look like. It's looking nice, got a nice glint in the eye there, so it still keeps that cartoony look even though it's realistic. And we'll can play with these other things and see what they do, but I think that's pretty much how I want it. And now I will show you how we do some button color mapping. So we've already saved out our UV, so now we're going to find that in Photoshop. Okay, so here we are in Photoshop. We've got our UV that we saved earlier. Just make sure we can see our layers here. There we go. Okay, so we've got to unlock this first. Use our magic wand. It's a nice low tolerance. Turn off continuous. So we want to select all that black area, and we'll delete it. There we go. Create a new layer underneath it, and we'll call this one color map Okay, make another one underneath that. Make it a background. And we'll make that a nice white background. There we go. Lock that one, and we'll lock our UV layer like that. Now we have our color map. Now I've already grabbed a image from the internet that I wanted to use to make this texture. So I'll just grab the... Oh, it's not going to work in my video capture here. Oh, maybe it is. Okay. So just grab that, copy it, paste it here, put it underneath. There we go. Just put it to the side here. Actually, it's probably okay. And then what we're going to do is, now this won't work in my video capture, so I'm just going to grab this clone tool, select the source from here, and we're going to paint the parts of this image to the places that I want it on here. We'll also be using the heal brush a bit, so it blends a bit nicely. And we'll skip ahead to when all that's done. Okay, so here we are. Now, after all that cloning, I've cut and cleaned up around the edges a bit, just to keep it a bit neater. And I've gone and done some adjustments. I've done some brightness and contrast, some hue and saturation as well. Played with the levels a little bit. I've also used my dodge and burn tools on different parts, like the inside the nostrils. I want them nice and dark. And that's our color map ready to go. So we'll save that one out. We have to make sure that this turned off. And our background one is, whoops, I turn that one off as well. Then we'll save that one out as a JPEG, and we'll call it TX-NOS-C, C for color. And now I'll show you how to make a bump map to go with it. So what we'll do is we'll grab the color map and duplicate layer. Okay, we'll make our color map disappear. We'll call this one bump map. And the first thing we do, make it black and white. And then we'll also adjust brightness and contrast. Now, I want to get it so these cracks are nice and dark. We still get a nice grey for the rest of the parts of the image. So it's probably about right there. Of course, you can adjust both your color map and bump map as you go in Maya to match up seams so they look nicer. Yeah, so that's pretty good. Then we'll save out that one as TX-NOS-B JPEG. Alright, and then once those are saved, let's grab them and apply them to a material. Okay, so here we are, we're in Maya, and we want to get that nice color map and bump map that we made and apply it to a blend material, and then we'll chuck it onto this nose here. So, first thing we do is make a blend. There it is. And we'll name it nose, like that. And click this checker here for color. And let's find our color map. So TX nose C for color. Open that one. And we will apply this nose texture to that part there. Now we'll make sure that we've got the right set selected, but for this one we've only got the one set, but that doesn't matter. So for this one we got that set selected, and then normally we'd select the faces, and then we'll apply the material to those faces, and then what we'd do is we'd get this set here from this set. It would normally be called nose or arm, or depending on what part it is, but this one's just one, but I'll show you anyway. So we get this UV set here, and then we want to copy to the main set. That'll make sure that the ratio looks right, and then we don't get any warping. So now once that is done, we can close that one, go back to our nose. It's also in here, so just, there we go. So we want to do that one, and what we've done is, this one, it's the one I made earlier. So we'll grab our bump mapping, just like this, same way we did the color pretty much. Alrighty, and here it is. So now let's apply it to that nose. We'll do a quick test render, see what it looks like. Now our bump is a bit too intense here, and it's probably going to be a little bit too shiny for what we want. We don't want the nose to look too wet. But of course it's all got to do with the look that you want. Yes, it's too bumpy. So what we want to do is we'll select our bump here. So to get to that, choose input and output connections on the material. There we can select that. Change our pump depth, but we don't want to go into negatives, so do it quite low. So we'll do a 0.50 there. Of course you adjust these as we do our test renders and see what it looks like. It's really nice. Looks a bit too shiny over here, so what we'll do is we'll go into the material attributes, and we'll turn down some of this eccentricity. Could probably go down a bit. Reflectivity, and if we just tweak those as we render and go along. There we go. It's looking nice. And that's how we texture our nose with a material using color and bump map. And that's what it looks like right there.